Welcome to Season 3 of Trap Talk.
Brought to you by Craigoff, the choice of champions.
All right, folks, we got to take a quick second and give a huge shout out to our title sponsor, Craigoff. Me and Ricky both shoot them. We both love them.
Yeah, best gun in the industry. I shoot them, I sell them. Nothing better, folks. Get yourself a Craigoff, your scores will increase.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky's got hundreds and hundreds of hundreds with his. I mean, I've got a few hundreds, but I'm always working to get a little bit better, and they definitely help me, that's for sure. So on top of that, we also got to thank Winnig. I'm wearing the shirt today. Love this shirt. If you're down at the Grand, pick one up.
Yeah, Winnig, like I said, Zach, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds with my Winnig stock. You know, get a hold of Bobby, Luke, Bill, get an appointment set up. They will make you a better shooter with that Winnig stock.
Of course, yeah, the Grand's the great place to do it. Give them a call, get on their book. It's worth your time.
Just remember, winners shoot Winnigs.
With that being said,
Let's get back to the show.
Welcome back to another episode of Trap Talk from the Back Fence. I'm your host, Zach Nannini. I'm here with my co-host, Richard Marshall Jr.
What's up?
We are here at the Cardinal Center for the 2025 Ohio State Shoot.
Yep.
And we've got our good friend Aaron Willoughby in, and we're going to hear his story. So Rick, would you mind introducing Aaron?
Absolutely. So I've known Aaron since he was about knee-high to a grasshopper. I actually knew his dad first, probably before knowing you,
for sure.
old Tony. So, but Aaron's a 5-time All-American, a 20-time Kentucky State team member. He's had 2 100s from the 27,
Yep.
multiple hundreds in doubles, and multiple 200 straights, okay? But also, he got his Grand Slam at the Silver Dollar, which everybody out there in trap shooting world understands.
salty.
That's pretty salty
That's
to break
pretty
100
salty.
at the Silver Dollar.
Not many people have.
Exactly. There's been very few people to break hundreds there. But he's also the general manager of Elite Shotguns, folks. So we're going to hear a little bit about Aaron's shooting story, his life growing up, living with his dad. Tony is a Grand American Ring winner. So
What do you
living
win?
under that, you
Clay
know,
target. Yeah.
They won the Clay
Oh,
target.
the hard one.
1998.
The hard one.
Absolutely. I was in that shoot-off when he won that.
That
But
was another
Joe,
one. Was that a Rue year?
no, I wasn't runner-up that year.
Because you said you got like 20.
I only got 4 or 5 runner-ups.
Lots of Rurus.
Yeah. But also, Aaron's, your, I guess, top highest award would be 4th in the Grand American Handicap.
Yeah, as far as
Now,
grand
last
trophies.
year, though, you were in the about top 9, I think it
Yeah,
was, or top
something
10
like
of
that.
of the Clay Target,
Well, in
which
the
is
Clay
salty.
Target, if I remember correctly, you broke the 200 the last 3 years. in a
Last
row.
last
3
3
years.
years. Yeah.
So that's pretty salty right there. Just to
Exactly.
be able to go and say, hey,
Yeah.
one day a year I'm going to show up and I'm going to break a 200.
And that's when you got to break the 200.
Well, yeah.
You know, in the Clay Target, everybody goes out there, and listen, I went out there and missed on the first post, been like, okay, we're going to have a 195 practice day, you know. So, but let's get to Aaron's
Well,
story.
I've missed the first one out. Have you ever missed the first
Absolutely.
one out? Yeah. It's,
I think we all have.
yeah. I mean, at the Clay Target, you're like, oh, there
Yeah.
it goes. You know, it's just like, but it is a game of persistence, and everybody's got to run 200 that day. I mean,
Absolutely.
What is it normally, like in the 50s, 60s?
50s, 60s for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was in it one year when we shot in Vandalia. I think we had like 80 some in it. And
Really?
then the year that Dave Burlett won it, I think there was like 28 of us or something. And I think Mike Blaisdell was the last one to miss. That was in 3 rounds.
Oh, wow.
Went 3 rounds. I was runner-up that year because I had to shoot another 200 to get runner-up. And I was like,
Should've just
geez.
not missed.
Well,
I got you.
Duh.
bud. I got you.
geez. Folks, who'd have
Hey,
thought
that's
that?
how you win a
Don't
ring.
miss and you win.
You win a ring.
Yeah.
You should have called me. So Aaron, I want to know. Obviously, your dad shot, and he's a Clay Target champion, which is amazing.
And a multiple-time
I didn't know that.
Kentucky
State champion.
I didn't
too.
know that.
champion,
So
absolutely.
So is your dad who got you into the game, or did you both start at the same time, or what's the story of why you shoot and how you got started?
So he was shooting before I was many years. He shot in the early 80s all the way through. Actually, he shot in the late 70s up until 81 when I was born. And then when I was born, of course, life gets in the way then, taking care of your kids and stuff. So he quit shooting. And then he came back into it in the, I guess it was the early 90s. He started shooting again. So he took a break there. And then I started going with him to the local club in Clay City, which is literally 10 minutes from our house. He was shooting Calcuttas and protectors and all that stuff.
All the fun stuff.
All the fun stuff, right? And so I would go with him, and I said, this is kind of cool. I'd watch from the picnic table in the background, and eventually he gave in and bought me a BT-99, which that's what he shot.
That's the starter.
Yeah.
gun
And
right there.
so anyway, he bought me a BT-99, and I'd go up there on Saturday nights and shoot a little bit, shoot some buddy matches with him and stuff. And eventually started shooting the bird race, the 25 bird race, and things like that, and really liked it, and enjoyed it. And anyway, I actually also worked at that club for a bit, scoring and loading the machine. That's back when you had the handsets and all that to load the machines. And
So you grew up around it.
I grew up around it, yeah. And I go to the big shoots with him. I wasn't shooting near as much as he was shooting, and I should pick like handicap events and stuff. We all started on the 19-yard line, and we're trying to win a little money and stuff like that, at the big shoots. And
Dad said, son, throw that sand in your pockets.
Exactly.
Let the pony run.
So
If you're only on the 19 once, better utilize it.
yeah. So
Heard it here, folks.
a lot of times the deal was, he'd put my entry fee in, and then we'd split the winnings and things like that. So
Well, that's a good dad. I mean,
it's
some
kinda
dads
cool.
only split them; they just keep them.
Yeah,
that's the same thing my
exactly.
dad
So
did.
that's kind of how it got started, there at the local level, and then started, gravitating to some other clubs and shooting some more buddy matches and Calcuttas and things. And I said, hey, let's, I want to try the registered thing, and that's kind of what happened. But all started with the Browning, though, the BT-99.
Now, and then, so did you go to shoot Kentucky State shoot then with your dad?
I shot a few shoots. I mean, gosh, it's been so long. This is like 96. But I shot the Kentucky State handicap, I think, maybe the singles that year.
Okay.
One shoot I do remember shooting that first year was the Southern Grand. It's when it was, they rotated it at different states. It was in Spartansburg, South Carolina.
No way.
And Mitchell Lovelace and I, we tied for the sub-junior championship. We broke 176 out of 200, and we shot off for the championship. And I broke a 25. And that was like my first really this is kind of cool, It's a first trophy. But we broke 176 and then shot off.
I can't believe you broke a 176 and then you went and threw a 25 on Mitchell like that. How you like that?
But I guess that was the first trophy, that was kind of like, this is going to be cool.
Got
You
in
probably
your
didn't even
blood.
break a 25 all day that day.
No, for sure. After a 176.
You're like, I got it now.
Exactly.
You just lined up on little Mitchell. I could just imagine him with his vest and his.
But he was kind of, he was shooting a lot, and
Yeah.
with his dad and stuff, and shooting a Kohler, and
Yeah.
it's like, man, this guy's good. I was a little intimidated, and so
You went out there and did your job, and
I did, yeah. So, but Mitchell and I are great friends now. We go way
Oh,
back.
he's a
So
great-
that's kind
he's
of
a
like
great
our.
guy.
That's kind of like our connection, That was one of the first encounters
First
with
deals.
a big shooter,
Did
Yeah.
you remind him
Of the
that
time,
that
you know.
you won? Like, hey, I got that. Like, you-
I don't bring it up.
I don't bring it up.
I don't bring it up.
I
Like, hey,
176
You
and
remember
I
that
stomped you.
176 and I mud stomped you? That's
Well,
messed up.
so you shot sub junior, you
Yeah.
shot as junior. Now you
Yep.
went off to you went to Lindenwood.
I went to
for
Lindenwood.
A short stint, didn't
yeah,
you?
so I was on the first team that they had. They came. We was in Vandalia.
Yeah.
Joe Steenberger. I don't know if he was.
Yep.
He came to Vandalia and recruited. I think 30 shooters or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Started it.
Started it all up, and I graduated high school, and it was like, I went to Lexington Community College before I went to Lindenwood. I graduated in 2000. I went to community college for a couple years, and then that happened like in 2002 or something. and
Yeah.
Moved out to Lindenwood, but stayed 1 year, and then
Said I'm
so I'm out.
I'm out. This is-
Came back home and then finished up, graduated from Morehead State. So
Cause you graduated with a teaching degree, didn't you?
teaching degree, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So
Now you're teaching people how to shoot and shooting shotguns and selling and all that
Right.
other stuff, right?
So I was a school teacher, taught school for 8 years.
Yep.
And,
And
ended,
then
up,
just said,
ended up getting my master's in sports marketing and management. So,
and then you got with Elite,
Mm-hmm.
which originally was L&B Elite.
that's right.
Okay.
So I taught school for 8 years, and while I was teaching in that probably year 5 through 8, I was selling some guns on the side for Kohler. I shot a Kohler for years, and I was selling some guns on the side. And during my planning periods, I was supposed to be planning lessons, but I was selling guns. I'm on trapshooter.com, So,
It's like
but
Bill
anyway,
Groves.
I had a perfect mix. I'd have my lessons and stuff, but I'd sell guns too on the side.
Yeah.
And so anyway, long story short, that's what I was doing. And then I got a call from John Romagli, who was the president of Kohler.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, I got an opportunity for you here. You don't need to pass this one up. You need to jump and go
Jump and
for
do
it.
it.
And so that was a big commitment. You know, obviously a lot of money went into college and a lot of time and effort to graduate. And I mean, I had tenure. So, I mean, I pretty much in Kentucky, after 5 years, you have tenure. And
Okay.
you're pretty much guaranteed a job unless you really screw something
Screw
up.
up. Yeah.
So, I mean, I had job security, and I was like, you know what? I said, this is what my dream has been. I wanted to be in the industry. I want to sell guns. I want to create the largest shotgun dealership in the country. And, you know, kind of hopefully
Because
that's where we're
prior
heading.
to that, I can't remember what year it was that, well, it would have been about 05 or 06 when Steve Brink and I drove to Florida. We had my yellow Amarillo Edition
I remember that.
truck full
Yep.
of guns. In the back,
Stuffed.
we dropped them off to the Walk brothers,
Yep.
or
Doug
father
and
and
Dave.
son, Doug and Dave.
Doug and
Dropped
Dave.
off the guns, and then we went over, and you went with us to Orlando to the SHOT Show
Yep.
that year.
I remember.
And that's where we had a good time. Remember the Under Armour party?
I
That's
remember
a
the
different
Under-
story for other
That's
times.
a different story.
yeah.
Trap Talk After Hours.
Yeah, that was that was where we understood what Under Armour meant. But yeah, it was a whole different deal. But, and I remember then you were talking about, and you would talk with Steve a little bit about it.
Yep.
Hey, you know, and Yeti back then was just like, no, this is he didn't want other people in the business type deal. But
Yeah.
no, it was and I remember then that was kind of because you were teaching.
Yeah.
But it was your dream deal to work in
Exactly.
the industry. So,
Exactly.
So how long have you been doing this now in the industry?
So Elite, I've been with Elite. This makes year 10. So
10
10
years.
years. 10 years with Elite. Now that's L&B.
Congratulations.
That's L&B Elite and Elite. So,
that was the
yeah,
same
10
time
years.
that I got hired on at Kohler in
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah. But as far as sales, I mean,
that goes fast. Because
I know.
remember
I
that.
mean, yeah.
We're
crazy.
2025, and
Yeah.
I remember that. Like,
2015.
I remember
Isn't
those
that
phone
crazy?
calls and like, oh, this is happening, and like it's just,
yeah,
it's
Yep.
amazing how like just time rolls on. But
Absolutely.
it does.
All right, folks, we got to take a quick second and give a shout out to the Cardinal Center in Marengo, Ohio. They hold the Cardinal Classic, and they also hold the Ohio State Shoot, which is home of the first back fence shootout. Ricky, what do you think about Ohio?
Listen, I love the Cardinal Center. I actually broke the first 100 from the 27 there at their very first shoot ever. Great place, Jake Spangler and their whole clan there. They do an awesome job at running the shoots. The Ohio State shoots ran by the Ohio State Association. The Cardinal Classic's right after the Grand, so if you're looking for some more points right after the Grand, hit that up so you can get a little more points than old Zach here. But listen, it's a great shoot. Great facility.
It really is. I personally love the RVs. They've got great camping there. They've got a great time, good shoot, good target presentation. Go check it out. It's worth putting on your list. Hey, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a real quick break, and we got to thank Ron Prescott from Mid-State Precious Metals for everything they do for the trap shooting community, coast to coast, for all your gold and silver buying needs. And on top of that, new announcement, they're a sponsor of the 126th Grand American.
Finally, he said it right, folks. Grand American. Yeah, Ron is a great guy. He's a sponsor of the Back Fence Shootout at Nevada State Shoot and Ohio State Shoot. And also, we got our gold for our Trap Talk event at Nevada State Shoot. And the 77th annual Nevada State Shoot, they bought all theirs from him. 680 ounces of silver to be exact, folks. You're missing out if you're not there.
That's a lot of silver. And honestly, if you're not buying from Ron, you're probably overpaying. So whether you're buying it for your gun clubs or your shoots or for your personal use, you got to give them a try because they're big supporters of the Trap Shooting Nation. So it's awesome.
All right, folks, we need to take a quick second and get to a new show sponsor, Big Red Motorsports. Big Red, they're personal friends of mine, Jason and George Lee, and they're also a personal sponsor of mine.
Now, I'll say this. Ricky looked great driving around in that side-by-side. I got some free rides down at Tucson, the Autumn Grand. I think it's awesome that they deliver all across the country. And obviously, they love trap shooters. They love trap shooting, and they're doing a great job.
Listen, they got Can-Am, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Triton trailers. Hit them up. We'll take care of you guys.
All right, folks, we got to take a real quick break and acknowledge the official target of the ATA, White Flyer. They've been sponsoring us since the beginning, and they make a great target. What do you think, Rick?
It's the best target in the ATA. Shout out to everybody there, all the reps, Bill Daniels, Josh Taylor, Nick Arnold, Robert Crow, everything they do for the sport and all the shoots. Really appreciate it.
They're always there. They're always trying to make a better target, and they're always supporting the game that we love so much. With that being said,
Let's get back to the show.
Let's get into talking about your shooting and your abilities. We'll talk more about Elite, obviously, but for you shooting, what's your methodology for approaching a trap? Like, what are your technical skills? Singles, handicap, doubles. What are you doing? What are you teaching? Kind of, what would you tell the listeners as far as how you shoot the game?
So I don't shoot a real high point of impact gun. I mean, around 75, maybe 80. I don't shoot anything over 80 really.
Yep.
That's what
Same.
kind of what Ricky and Zach
Yep.
does too.
Same guns.
But it's some of those guys can shoot the 100%ers, but it don't work for me.
I'm out.
Yeah, exactly.
Too much math.
So singles, I do. I know this is against Ricky's philosophy here, but I do shoot modified for singles. I shoot full for handicap on 27.
You're going with the Mitchell Lovelace. philosophy,
Exactly.
is what it is.
That's right. Yeah.
Pray and pray.
Spray and pray. That's right. But as far as singles, I mean, I try to be deliberate. That's sometimes difficult. And in order to do that, I cannot hold on the lid like Ricky.
Yep.
I have to hold above the lid maybe a foot on a normal target.
Okay.
Let it clear my barrel and then make my shot.
Make you move.
Okay.
But pre-shot routine is really the key, as you all know. I mean, I have a catchphrase, and that can change from day to day depending on what I'm dealing with or what the targets are doing. Typically, it's keep your head down, break the next target.
That's
and then-
not bad at all.
And that's before I mount the gun, before I start my gun mount. But once I start the mount, I'm thinking about nothing.
So in singles, you're about a foot above the house,
Mhm.
okay? And are you in line with the traditional hold points? Like 5, you're on the corner, 1, you're on the corner, 2, 3, and 4, you're kind of in line with where the house is. Is that correct?
Yep, that is correct.
So everything like a Remington hold point chart on those corners, on those edges, and then a foot above, and you're waiting for that target to clear.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that happens, what are you doing? Are you just naturally looking at it and attacking it, or what's
Just looking at it and
Driving through.
driving
Gun
to it.
speed.
Yep.
He
gun
shoots
speed.
like we do. I mean, he's got that gun
bottom
speed.
up?
Yep.
Now-
Bottoms up for sure.
And-
Frank Hoppy's bottoms up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because Frank held a high gun.
Yeah.
But he always waited. He didn't
That's
ever
right.
trap a target.
He waited.
He waited and then moved.
Yeah.
But that was just it because Frank had floaters and all sorts of others. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in all reality, Frank had a lot of negative stuff going on,
But he
with
could
his
think
eye
through it.
But
He was able to think through it because he knew how to work the game.
absolutely.
And some people don't. Some people do. Some people have natural ability. Some people really know how to think about the game.
And it's just like right now, and just not getting off topic, same deal with eye stuff, but just like our show sponsor, Outlaw Engineering, Cooper Freston. Cooper's got shot in the eye, and he's got about 30 to 40% of his vision, maybe. Right eye, shooting right-handed. He's breaking all kinds of good scores. Broke 100 straight, first 100, the Western Grand.
Really?
Shoot with his left eye, but his right eye, and it's clearing up slowly, but it's still, it could be a year or two out from, but it's one of those deals, dealing with stuff of, hey, if you, this right here, that mental side, as you know, I mean, Aaron and I shot a lot together. I mean, I remember when we used to shoot the Silver Dollar, the money shoot down there.
Yeah.
The one year, I mean, we pretty much, our squad took everything.
We did.
And we shot in a downpour that one day.
I remember.
Aaron had to shoot off it, and I was sitting inside, and I was still soaked.
Shot off
Taking
against
all the
Harlan
trophies
for,
in
for the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, but that was, and that's, so it's cool though, you're the same as like, myself, Zach, Sean Hawley, we're driving through the target.
Yeah.
See the bird, kill the bird. Go after it and
That's it.
attack it. Now in handicap, are you still holding a little higher, or are you come down?
I'm on the lid, yeah, for sure on
Okay.
handicap.
So
To
you're
get a
the
little
same.
more, more gun speed, but the key is to have the same gun movement really into the target from a 27.
So coming down because the variance in the angle.
That's right.
And having that same move. So you're up a little bit and then down. So from here to here, you're still making the
Yep.
the same move correctly.
Yep.
And in doubles, are you a hold high spot shoot like Matt Bartholow, or are you like me and Ricky where you're down and you're hunting it out? Or
I
what's
track
your-
it a little, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not real high, but I'm not on the lid either. I mean, we're talking 6 inches above the lid. maybe.
You're about, he's about level.
Yeah,
parallel?
yeah.
Parallel for him. I mean,
Yeah.
but height matters. That's when some people go, I've taught guys that are 6'5", 6'6", 6'7",
parallel for Rich
and they
Ford.
go, well, that's the thing.
And parallel for Ray Stafford or Krause are two different things. Those are different parallels. I mean, one's on the house and one's about 30 feet in the air, you know?
But
So-
that's the thing when people don't realize, they go, oh yeah, or they'll tell somebody, yeah, just hold parallel. Guy's like, okay, they're holding parallel, they're right above the house. Then you got a guy that's 6'7", he's holding parallel. He goes, man, the target never gets over my barrel. Well,
it's different parallel.
exactly. That's so different deal.
Hey, Trop Talk listeners, let's take a quick second to thank a couple more amazing sponsors. SOS Clays Shoot Management. They're doing a fantastic job. I love the app. I love being able to see everything on my phone instantaneously. It's freaking awesome. Rick, what do you think?
Yeah, Greg Pink and his group over there. I mean, they've got majority of the satellite grands, majority of the state shoots. I think it's 40 plus state shoots they're doing. But the app, honestly, we were doing a little beta testing with that at the Spring Grand. It's awesome. You can see your squad if they paid. You can see your options, your payouts. The whole works at your fingertips. Great deal. They're just
Ricky
killing
knew how
it
much
over there.
money he made before he even got off the line. He was like, hey, I'm buying lunch. I'm like, yeah, good job. We're good to go.
That's
We
right.
also got gun and trophy insurance. I mean, they're the best in the business. I know they're great price. Ricky, you're familiar with them, right?
Yeah, Cole and Larry Cushman been long-time supporters of myself, and I've been a supporter of them, and especially with my college team. We require insurance. It's so fast and easy to sign up and get your insurance in literally 10 minutes. You can have your guns insured, and they're just great. They're great to deal with. Like I said, you can do your trophies also, your wildlife animals and that such, and your guns. It's just a great
It's
product.
always good when you're
Great
traveling
product.
around to have that peace of mind and know that you don't have to worry about losing your stuff forever. And these are expensive things, especially when you got those Craig-offs. You got to keep them insured. So
Oh, exactly.
with that being said,
let's get back to the show.
So when you started in the game, because obviously you're very accomplished, you've won a lot of stuff. What did you do to take your game to the next level? Was it serious to you the whole time? When did it become serious? And what was the practice regime? Were you just traveling and shooting a lot, or was it like, okay, I'm going to go work on this and this and this?
So I really don't practice a lot. I didn't practice a lot, even as I was coming up through. I mean, I shot at Lindenwood, and we'd practice every Wednesday night. We'd go to the Winchester plant and shoot their ammo up and stuff. But, I just really didn't shoot a lot of practice. I mean, my practice came at the shoots, really.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
you were a tournament learner.
we would shoot we would shoot the weekend stuff, the Calcuttas and stuff, but that was really my practice.
And there's a
Zach,
lot of people
well,
that tournament learn.
Here's the deal, though. You don't understand because you're from California, but in Kentucky and in Ohio, because I lived there from 2000 to 2005 in the wintertime with Randy and Ernie Ross
were
cutting
logging.
timber. Yeah, when I was cutting timber. And we would go to Calcuttas every night but Monday night. And within a 100-mile radius of Cincinnati, you could go to a Calcutta. And it's crazy the amount of people. I'd see them like, oh, and they're like, then they pull out, they got a 20-yard card. I'm like, bro, I watched you shoot back at when we were shooting the backup deal
What
at
with this?
the 38-yard line at Moorhead Gun
Moorhead,
Club.
yeah.
Philip
Wow.
Nichols' old club. I mean,
Yep.
I won a country ham there that was as big as you. I mean,
Sounds good to me.
They still shoot every Sunday.
do
so
they
they're
over
still
there?
Mhm.
That was a good time. We had a lot of fun. And I shot Tri-City.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of clubs down there. I shot the Kentucky State Shoot that one year, and we should go to Kentucky State Shoot. This year would be
Just to
kind of
mess
tough.
with Ditto.
It would be fun to go mess with.
We're going to mess with Ditto. Hashtag mess with Ditto.
But no, you don't understand though. In Kentucky though, they shoot all the time.
All the time.
Backers, protector. I mean, buddy deals, little Calcuttas. I mean, it is a good time.
So a lot of shooting, but not a lot of practice. You were
That's
you were
right.
traveling and shooting and getting into tournaments and getting targets
Competitive
in and
shooting.
competitive
Yeah.
shooting and learning. But it wasn't like, hey, I went to the practice trap and I
Yeah.
worked on a lot of stuff, a
That's
lot
right.
of hours.
Not really, no. And I still don't. I mean, we got a trap right across the
well,
road.
you got a trap at your
We have a
house
trap
now.
there. I mean, normally at the beginning of the season, I'll go out and shoot 3 or 4 flats, just to kind of get the muscle memory back because I don't shoot a lot in the winter.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's it. Like,
Well, you're busy. I mean, running.
yeah, I mean,
elite.
it's busy.
I mean,
It's tough. It's tough
but
to.
now, what is there any like new shoots that you want to hit, or is it just like the same?
We do want to go to Nevada State. That is conflicting with me though.
Why?
Because
What's
it's on
conflicting?
top of nationals and I
There's
have to be
nothing
at
that's
the
more
complex.
conflicting.
Listen,
You gotta
listen,
go to
it's
Nevada. I
after
mean,
nationals. It is after
This
nationals.
year, is it?
Yes, it is.
You're good.
Because I'm going to go to nationals, I think, and shoot.
I'm going to.
Trying to talk knucklehead. We'll go
You don't
down
need
and
to talk. I'm in.
Okay.
We'll go down and shoot, and maybe
I thought it was on
shoot
top
the
of
early
it.
deal.
I'm a sporting
Yeah,
clay
okay.
shooter now.
Folks, he is not a sporting clay shooter. I've shot with him. No moss.
Hey, I like rabbits. They're great. Little Hassenpfeffer.
But no, it is. It's
Okay.
the week before.
Okay.
So my plan was to go shoot nationals for a couple days, shoot the 2-day main, and then maybe shoot a couple, 5-stand,
Yeah.
super sport, whatever,
Yeah.
and then either fly back home for a day and see Mama because Tyler will be at college, and then head to Vegas. Fly out is my
Okay.
plan. Mama's gonna come to. It just depends on work schedule, but yeah,
Okay,
You ought
that
to.
may work.
Vegas is.
We're
I tell
going.
you what, it is probably as far as state shoots out there.
It's fun.
I love every state shoot we go to, but everything they do, free dinners, free drinks. There's poker tournaments at night. There's silver shootouts every night. I mean, it's one of those shoots. It's like, man, you love to be there. You
gotta
not
go.
miss out.
400 ounces of silver.
Yeah, 400 ounces of silver.
400 ounces of silver, folks. You
And
heard it here first.
runner-ups, thirds, yardage are all 25 ounces of silver.
Yes.
I could get third.
Hey, you have till 6. You can run her up to
Yeah,
For
you got
six?
till 6.
I got room, homie. We're good. Don't need that first place stuff. I'm a back end shiner. We're good.
This is what I deal with, folks.
This is the cost of admission.
All right, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a quick break, and we got to welcome a new sponsor to the show, RGS Bore Stripper. It's a great product. Ricky, tell them how they can find it.
Go to their website, rgsguncleaner.com. You can get the 1 8-ounce bottle, free shipping, 2 8-ounce bottle, and you get the 2-ounce travel bottle, and it's free shipping also. Or just get the little 2-ounce bottle for travel.
Yeah, they sent me some of this product, and I used it on my Krieghoff choke tubes the other day, and it got the plastic out like in a minute, and it was super cool and super good. So if you like cleaning your gun, you like eliminating plastic, and you like shiny bores, give them a try for sure. Thank you so much for supporting the show.
Yeah, we'd really like to thank John Weber, the owner, for the support. He's doing an awesome job.
Yeah, we really want to thank John. We appreciate the support of the show. Anybody that supports Trap Talk, you guys need to support them and get this stuff because it's awesome.
And with that, let's get back to the show.
But so for you now, at your stage in the game, do you have like goals? Do you work on things, or the things that you're trying to get to in your world, and then how do you achieve them?
So with the general manager role at Elite, I mean, I've got 2 goals here. I've got a shoot and goal and a business goal. Shooting goals obviously is to start winning some rings. That's everybody's goal that shoots.
Yep.
Trying to win
Absolutely.
some rings and things like that. From a business side, we have built Elite to be probably the largest shotgun dealer in the country, in the United States, if not, one of the top 2 or 3 for sure. Lots of different brands, lots of different options. So just maintaining that and seeing how far we can really take the Elite, take it to the next level. That's really my goal, from a business side.
Because you're over.
See how far we can go.
You're
Yeah.
over as a
Everything,
GM role.
yeah.
You're over everybody.
General manager of Elite Shotguns.
So Cameron,
Yes, yep.
Brad,
Cameron, Brad, Justin from Kentucky.
yeah.
Bob Woods and Josh Crawford from Pennsylvania.
How many of those mobile units do you guys have right now? Because I know you have those, right? Like
We
you
have
got
3. Yeah,
So there's 3 mobile units that are going around shoots all over the country.
that's right.
Yep.
And then
And do you have an actual physical location, or is it all mobile the way you guys?
There's
do it?
multiple physical locations.
yeah, we have So we have 4 brick and mortar stores that are open every day for the most part. Okay, Pennsylvania, we have the Gun Club in Vero Beach, Florida, sporting clay facility. San Antonio, Texas, and of course Kentucky.
Kentucky's your location.
That's my location.
San Antonio is the National Shooting Complex.
Yep.
Cameron runs that.
Yep.
And then Pennsylvania, which is outside Pittsburgh.
That's
It's on
where Elite
the-
started. That was the
Yeah,
first Elite
that's on
store.
it's on the east side, isn't it? Of Pittsburgh.
Just a little south, yeah.
South
yeah,
and east.
Glenshaw.
Glenshaw, yeah. So,
But,
and that's where Murray's.
That's where Murray's from,
Murray's from,
yeah, in
is
that
that
area.
area.
And then, of course, we have this location in Ohio, Sparta, Illinois, and then now a Tucson location. So collectively, we got 7 locations.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
3
with all the-
7 locations and 3 mobile showrooms.
Next, you
and
got
then-
Tucson,
They had a lot of
Sparta
places.
here, and then the 4.
And then
brick
the 4.
mortars.
Yeah.
So,
So for people that are wanting to get better at the sport, what advice would you give them? Like, what are the things they could be doing that helped you become who you are?
So, find a good coach, somebody to fit your gun for you properly. I mean, being in this industry, gun fit is key. And you know, that kind of goes back to our elite way. We call it the elite way because we don't just sell you a gun that doesn't fit. And as you guys know, gun fit is key.
Yep.
If a gun doesn't fit you, you're not going to shoot it good. You're not going to like be at your full potential. And so find somebody that's a good coach. Ricky, Zach. I mean, if Ricky's not available.
I'm like, if he's busy, you can slough all
Call
over
Zach
it.
for all your financial needs. Call me for all your coaching needs.
When he's sick, I got you.
But yeah, all jokes aside, find you a good coach and
that
somebody
is
that
true.
can fit your gun to you properly. Find a good gun fitter, and then that'll be your good baseline. And then it's really up to you to develop the mental game and get the experience and get the targets under your belt to where you can handle the butterflies and when you get in the shoot
It
off
is.
and stuff.
The shakes, yeah.
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 And I always recommend people go watch better shooters shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember years ago, Vandalia was the prime place because you could there was no golf carts, buggies, or anything.
Nope.
It was you would walk or get on the trolley, see somebody jump off, and go watch them. And that's the biggest thing. That's like goes back
you
to
learn so much there.
Well, listen, it goes back to we were talking about this on the last episode about, hey, it'd be kind of cool if maybe the ATA said at the Grand, everybody, the
shooters
top,
are here.
say 35, 40 shooters shoot in this area, people could go watch them.
Yeah.
Well, what I can tell you is the greatest learning that I ever had was in the beginning days when I started shooting. I'd go to Kingsburg, and at the time, this was Kingsburg in its heyday, California State Shoot. You had Sean Hawley, you had Dan Benitez, you had Jimmy Heller, you had
David
Steve Smith,
Alcariza.
you had David Alcariza, you had Ron Alcariza, you had Gary Benetti, you had
David Zanotti.
David Zanotti. You had these guys, and I'm telling you right now, at the time when I started shooting, you had the back end of all of these amazingly talented gun pointers. And if I forgot anyone, I apologize. But there was so many. And when you got there to shoot off night at Kingsburg, you would sit there and the championship singles. I would sit there and I'd watch. And I'd watch Sean. Every night I'd watch Sean. Every night I'd watch Dave. Every night I'd watch Jimmy. And it's just like, okay, what are they doing? And Jimmy was so upright and he was so smooth with it.
He shot
And
just like Benitez.
correct. And
Benitez
Benitez had the best footwork I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
He was here and he'd go boom and he just turned with his body and pivot. And then Kelly, he didn't do it the right way, but he did it good. He'd get this all hunkered shit.
This is why he can't come hunting unless I'm there, Dave.
He'd get this whole hunkered thing in and he'd drop that gun to make it shoot higher. And I'd be like, so for me, I almost learned some things from like getting in the gun and really locking in. I learned that from Kelly.
That's the greatest thing about this sport is you can go watch people shoot and just learn and ask questions. Now I recommend this. Wait till they're done. If it's me, in between 50s, 25s, you can ask a question.
Yeah,
I'll
mess with
answer
them.
it.
See if you could shake them
That
up.
don't bother me. But all shooters, just wait till they're done at the end of the event and then just say, hey, I was watching you shoot. I got a question. Why do you do this? Or why do you do that? And I'll tell you, 99.9% of the people will give you an answer.
All right, folks, we got to take another quick break and thank one of our show sponsors, 73 Pointers Ranch, Jonesburg, Missouri. Rick and Carla Burke, best place in the area to go shoot chuckers and pheasants and have a great time. Rick, we got to get you down there.
Yeah, I need to come in. Hopefully I can do some hunting with you guys and come to your the annual clay shoot in August right after the Grand.
It's a lot of fun. It's the Optimist Club charity shoot. They throw a charity shoot. They put it on, and it's wonderful. I think last year they had over 100 entries into it, and it's just a good time. With that being said,
Let's get back to the show.
What is your primary focus in your shooting goals? Like, is there some things that you want to knock out? I know we talked about elite and kind of those goals, but is it just the rings?
The rings mainly, yeah. I definitely got to. I mean, I've got one. My dad's got one up on me, so I need a ring for sure.
I want to talk about that. With your
I
dad
know,
winning
yeah.
one,
Yeah.
were you there when he won that ring?
I was there.
So how was that experience watching him win the ring, and how did you feel at that age?
So I didn't shoot. I wasn't shooting that event with him. I watched him win it though in the shoot off.
Yep.
So
You
I
were
didn't shoot
there
singles.
supporting.
I just shot some handicap events at the Grand. I didn't shoot singles. But he did. I watched him win it the next night. They shot 200. They broke 200, and it was down to him and one other guy. They came back the next night and shot another 25, and he broke another
That's all it
25. And but I remember watching it. That's when Steve Richardson was shooting.
Yeah.
And They had
Is
the
he shooting anymore?
No, he's not around anymore. They had the Budweiser beer tent behind
Yep.
the grandstands, and they had a band playing, and I guess, they were all excited, of course, and they stopped the band and said, "Hey, this guy just won the clay target." They got him up on stage. And it was a big deal.
Oh,
Kinda
yeah,
funny.
it's a big deal. And I'm going to say something about that right now. Is I think the ATA needs to do a little bit better job of recognizing the winners of these championships at the Grand. I've been there. I mean, I know the one year I was runner-up, and the gentleman, Richard Schroed, which Richard
He had a
Schroed.
bucket of shells and a vest.
And he did. And he smokeballed every target. And we went over 400 straight, and he won. And there was no one there from the ATA to congratulate him.
I watched it.
I know.
I
It was
watched
late.
the whole thing.
And we left. I'm not kidding you. It was 1 a.m. We got done. We left. And this guy come blazing in a Jeep Cherokee. I'll never forget this. Who's shooting out there? I said, I don't know, sir. I was just watching.
Not me.
Yeah. And he went up. But it was, and Richard Schroed even said to me, he goes, I thought this was a big deal.
Well,
And
is
I
a
said
big
it
deal,
is.
and
This
he's
is the
a
biggest
BITA
single
shooter. He's from the West
Superstar.
Coast, and he's a killer. But like this was like one of his first times in the Grand,
Yeah.
and he shot
He
amazing.
did.
He won the ring.
I wish
but
he wouldn't have came that year, but it's okay.
go
know,
to
no,
Grand
but-
Pacific.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, it is something that I think that we need to do better as an organization. Is just say,
I just
hey,
feel like podium, like almost like a hey. After it's done,
Absolutely.
the closing ceremonies or whatever. Have the Grand Ring winners come out in front of the
Absolutely.
grandstands, have an applause. Hey, this is a big deal. That's what
Yeah.
they do in sporting clays.
Skeet does it.
They
We
have,
both.
They all do it.
Aaron and I have been to both Skeet
they
Nationals.
not only have
Sporting
podiums,
Nationals.
they have pictures,
World
they have a
Skeet shoot,
closing
sorry.
ceremony. I guess the only thing I would say is like all those shoots are like week of. With the Grand, it's 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so
but-
by the time it ends, like a lot of people are trying to get out of there, but I still think you need to recognize.
I think you
recognize
need to
the winners.
because it's the World Trap Shooting Championship. Absolutely. I think that's something that we need to maybe reach out to the ATA and the powers that be and just say, hey, yeah, and just say, guys, I think this would be a great deal.
It'd be
You know,
nice to see the 5
We'll get the
winners.
podiums made. It'll be the Trap Talk podium.
We can do trap talk. We got that. We can handle that. That's like
Yeah.
There you go.
potentially.
Seriously, it is something that I think that it is because it's such a big deal. As your dad, I mean, to win a ring, listen, I've been fortunate. I've won 4 of them. And when I won my very first one, I was just amazed. And
One's enough to complete your accolade if I did it, and then after that,
Absolutely.
everything after that's gravy. Well, like right
No.
now, where I'm sitting, where he's sitting, it's like you got to get one. Because you don't, in my mind.
well,
and
you
this is
both
just-
have the ability. And here's what a lot of shooters don't understand is when you get into these shoot-offs at the Grand, especially the singles, as your dad was one hell of a single shooter his whole life, is it's longevity.
It is.
It's one of those of just it's a grind. I mean, it's just like at the Illinois State shoot. I mean, had to go 200 straight with kids. There's down to kids.
They were
and I'm
whipping.
saying that, yeah, and I'm saying I barely see these but it's one of those deals. It's the longevity.
Yep.
Then you go like the doubles. Matt Bartholow. I mean, he's won it 4 times now, I think, or 3 times.
3 in a row.
3 in a row.
3 in a row.
Which is a record. But to do that, I mean, that's just that's the longevity too.
Longevity and mindset. But looking at it from a Hall of Fame or from an accolade standpoint, in my mind, and this is my own personal opinion, so don't hate me if I say it, but you don't really earn your way into the Trap Hall of Fame if you don't have a ring, in my mind. I mean, if the ring kind of solidifies it. Now, there's some guys in there that didn't get rings, and they're probably deserving of it. I'm sure there's some great shots there. But I think if you have
your opinion.
if you have the ring, that kind of like, okay, this guy got there, right?
I could
And-
see I could see both sides of it. I mean, because I know there is people that are in there that haven't won a ring, people that are going in that haven't won a ring. But it's one of those, it's like they've won a lot. So it's almost.
I just don't want to ever be on a bubble. I don't
Well-
want to ever be like because I've been in the clubhouse when people are like, oh, he's going in. And it's like, did he really earn it? Or
But
did
here's
he
the
not?
downside to that. Here's the downside of that. And Aaron's been around longer than you have in shooting, and you've heard all the stuff. there's always those clubhouse guys that are going to trash everybody and that. And it's like, hey, that's just part of the shooting deal.
That's just the game.
But it's like, listen, it's someone that has the accolades, or maybe you don't know all the accolades. I mean, it's like when I went in the Nebraska Hall of Fame, I was 23 years old. I was like, God, I'm kind of young to be
But
going
you
into
got
this
all
deal.
the championships.
Well,
You
I
won the
did.
last one the last
No.
day.
I did, but their whole big hang-up at the time was, well, he ain't broke 100 from the 27.
I know.
And this hurt. This was coming into there. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Friday morning, I broke 100 from the 27. So when I was on the podium, I said that. I said, well, I guess I'm in now because I broke
I guess you're
100.
qualified.
But I told Jim Bradford, I said, isn't this for old people? Well, you're 23. What do you expect? You know?
Exactly.
But it is one of those cool things now. But it is something that I think, we need to grow as a sport, just like you guys at Elite are growing. You guys got now, you bought all the, if people don't know, Elite bought all the Game Masters 2 inventory, which was Steve Brink, who
You're
I
stocked full
sold
of guns.
for.
is what you're
We have
saying.
plenty of guns.
They're
If
stocked
people
full.
call, you can buy,
Trust
you got
me.
some stuff
That's
for
right.
'em.
I can, and if you have any questions about them guns, call me. I can tell you, because I know every one of them. I inventoried every one of them guns. So, but no, and that's a cool thing that, now is Murray going to be at the Grand?
He will be, yeah.
He's going to come
The
out.
plans-
He's not coming here.
He came last year.
Yeah.
I really like Murray. I met him at the SHOT Show for the first time, and he just seems like
yeah.
a real quality guy. Really honest, really
Murray,
straightforward.
Murray's a straight shooter. Murray's a student of mine. I've done trap lessons with Murray a lot and stuff. So, he's a great guy. And he wanted to just like, hey, I'm going to build a huge gun business, and it's worked.
Hey, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a real quick break, and we got to thank Ron Prescott from Mid-State Precious Metals for everything they do for the trap shooting community, coast to coast, for all your gold and silver buying needs. And on top of that, new announcement, they're a sponsor of the 126th Grand American.
Finally, he said it right, folks. Grand American. Yeah, Ron is a great guy. He's a sponsor of the Back Fence Shootout at Nevada State Shoot and Ohio State Shoot. And also, we got our gold for our Trap Talk event at Nevada State Shoot. And the 77th annual Nevada State Shoot, they bought all theirs from him. 680 ounces of silver to be exact, folks. You're missing out if you're not there.
That's a lot of silver, and honestly, if you're not buying from Ron, you're probably overpaying. So whether you're buying it for your gun clubs or your shoots or for your personal use, you got to give them a try because they're big supporters of the Trap Shooting Nation. So it's awesome. With that being said,
Let's get back to the show.
It was a bad experience. Basically, the story of Elite is Murray had a bad experience purchasing a gun, and he was like, we want to. Why don't I just create a business that takes care of their customers and
right
treats you
way.
the right way? And so that's how Elite was born.
Yep.
And
With Don and Don.
Don Senior and Donald Watt Jr. It's father son. They shot at the local club in Skeet. They shot Skeet.
Yep.
And they put their heads together and bought this little. It's not really a hole in the wall, but this little small business. It was going to be a pizza shop, and they had the pizza ovens in there. It was ready to go, and they never opened up. Never
Now,
opened.
is Donnie
they moved
still
the pizza
involved?
ovens out. No, he's out. Yeah.
Is he-
So Don Senior passed away.
Yeah, I knew Donnie. I knew Don passed away. And see, Donnie is who designed my logo.
Yeah.
Him and Jen.
I like your logo.
Yeah, they
Nice
did.
logo.
They designed because he was a tattoo artist originally, and that's where that came from with the RM. And I was like, oh yeah. He goes, oh yeah. I can do it. I was like, cool. So
And the Elite logo, he drew the Elite logo. That's
Yeah.
where the Elite logo came from. So
He's a good designer.
yeah.
absolutely. Well,
But yeah, he's no longer with us. He's moved on, and but yeah, it's that's how it started. It was a less than pleasant experience turned into Elite shotguns today.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to hear your story, Aaron. I mean, you raised in a trap shooting family. Your dad's
Yep.
got a clay target ring. You told us about, the 400, the father-son trophy. Was that at Kentucky State?
Kentucky State,
Yep.
yeah, that was pretty cool to break 400 beside your dad.
Now,
Were you on the same squad?
We're shooting side by side. He's post 1, I'm post 5,
Yeah.
so it was
did
on
you
me.
did you
so
win
were
the
you
singles?
on 5 and you had to?
It was on me.
So that was a little pressure,
Well,
right? He broke them, and you're like, all right. I gotta
Who
break
won
'em.
the singles that year? Did you win Was that the
That was the year I won the
that was
singles.
the year-
Yeah.
'cause I remember I wasn't there, but I remember hearing someone called
So
me and
you
said,
whooped
"Hey,
Daddy in the shoot-off, or what?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
he
won the
did.
singles
Oh,
that
he
year.
did.
Hey, you know what?
Sorry,
You got,
Tone."
You got a clay target. You can't complain.
The parent-child at the Grand was fun too. We missed one there. We had a 399, and that happened after.
Who missed?
I think it was me.
Yeah, it was Aaron.
I gotta ask.
Yeah, I think it was
Tony, you've never met Tony. Tony,
I don't think so.
He could shoot singles. I
So the year he won the clay target, he had a singles average of 99.7.
So did he teach you a lot about shooting, or were you self-taught?
I mean, he taught me a few of the basics, but I mean, I learned through trial and error. I mean, I took a Frank Hoppy clinic once, and you know, kind of got the basics.
What do you think, in your own words, are like the most important basics? If you could break it down, like what are the things, like the gold? What do they need to be doing?
Well, gun fit's number one. You got to see the target before you move the gun. That's key, because Ricky knows me. He's watched me shoot a lot over the years. I'm horrible at anticipating the target.
Aaron anticipates a lot.
I do too.
If I get in a rhythm, you know, especially in singles, if you're just rolling them up, you know, you want to say pulling and start going.
It's a lull. You're just kind of lulled
Yeah.
through. Yeah.
So, you know, get the gun fit, see the target before you move the gun, and like singles, I'm trying to be smooth. You know, just concentrate on being smooth, making a smooth delivery. But seeing the target is the name of the game. You know.
Yeah.
See the target, kill the target.
Well, and part of the deal too is the squads you shoot with. I know we've shot a lot together. Me, you, Tank Lunsert. Tank's been on the show. His
Shout
son
out.
Kurt, Joe Nyer.
He's shooting
We
good.
shot a lot
Kurt's
together.
shooting good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was watching, because I stayed down to Florida State shoot this year. You went home.
Yeah,
But
some of
Kurt
us had
was,
to work.
Yeah.
He made his first All-American
Like I
team
said,
this year.
Yeah,
Working hard.
Kurt made his first All-American team.
Yep, he got the
Which
last
is
spot.
cool.
He was sweating, but even we were texting back and forth. I don't know, we're close, we're close,
Yep.
we're close.
Yeah.
And
Well, I had it all figured
he
out.
slid in there.
before it was all put out there, and I seen Kurt was on there, and I thought, you know what? I was like, no, I'm not going to text him. I'll wait till it's finalized.
Yeah.
You know, because I was like, maybe I missed something. And then you text me like, hey man, you made the All-American team. And then it come out, no, you were 26th instead of 25th. You know, I was like, nah.
Captain of the third team. That's a bad one.
That's horrible.
I called Mitchell Loveless one year and I said, congratulations on captain of the third team. I'm sorry for that, Mitchell. I apologize. I've grown a lot spiritually since then. I was in a hateful place. You heard it here first. It is what it is. But yeah, like, you don't want to be captain of the third
No,
team.
but that is cool. You know, and your squad does have a lot to
It
do
does.
with how you're shooting, and you know, if you got a good squad. I mean, like here at the state shoot here, you know, I'm shooting with Tyler, Anna Rao, Joey Charnago, and Justin, and we just roll through it. You know, and today it was a rough day at the old Cardinal Center day with
It
the
was.
weather, as everybody knows, and it, you know, that handicap. Joey goes, man, we should have had him called dead. We'd have heard, you know, more than the loss. And it was bad.
That's
I mean,
messed
it
up.
was. You know, but it's one of those days. It's like, hey, but we all laughed, and it's like, hey,
all you
there's
can
always
do.
tomorrow.
Move forward, move on. That's
Always
all you
another
can do.
event.
There's always more.
All right, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a real quick break, and I've got something that I'm so excited to announce. Trap Shooting USA has now become the official magazine of the Trap Talk podcast.
No, it's not only Trap Shooting USA now. It's Wing and Clay Life, Lady Outdoor Lifestyles, and Clay Shooting USA.
I'm just really excited because they make such a high quality magazine. I mean, if you guys haven't had these magazines and you actually get to touch them in your hands, they've got really thick paper, they're really glossy, and they keep it really cool. I mean, I just love it.
The Traveling Gunsmith, and then in this newest episode, we have
Oh man, look at those handsome guys. I love this. I love it. I love it. So also on top of that, Outdoor Pursuits Media, Matt, he's decided that he's going to give away a shotgun at the Grand American this year at our live podcast studio. If you weren't there last year, you missed out. You need to be there this year. It's going to be great. The only thing you have to do is either renew or subscribe to any one of these magazines, and you're going to be in for the drawing for the gun. And we're going to have all that information in the future. Just look out for it, and we'll keep you updated for sure.
with that, let's get back to the show.
Is there any people you'd like to thank before we get out of here? Any closing thoughts?
Definitely thank my dad for getting me into the sport.
Yeah.
For sure. Elite Shotguns, Murray Gerber. I mean, if it wasn't for Murray Gerber and the team that we put together and
Yeah.
assembled here, this Elite wouldn't even be possible. So definitely thanks for Murray. You know, thanks to Murray for all the support. Definitely some of my sponsors for sure.
I seen the new winning you got.
What's that?
I seen your winning.
Yeah,
stock
you.
on the
We
page.
didn't talk about it. You're not
We're
shooting a
talking about
Kohler
gun
anymore.
fit,
You
Yeah, I did switch guns.
You
so
moved on to a Prozzy.
But
Okay.
I seen that on the page. They put it up there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's nice. I said, that's nicer than mine. I said, what are they doing with this boy?
Yeah. No,
Hey,
it's gorgeous.
You know what?
So
He's pounding them.
we bolted it up Tuesday night and hit the ground running yesterday. So we're going to make a few tweaks, but it's all good. So, but yeah, thanks to my dad, thanks to Murray and Elite, and my grandfather. My grandfather has passed away now. My grandfather really, he really supported me. Covering expenses and things over the years, and he was a second father figure really for me, for sure. So yeah, it's been a fun ride for sure.
Hey, it ain't over. We
Well,
got
no,
rings.
it
We
ain't
got
over.
rings.
We
to win.
got rings to win.
We got
Absolutely.
rings to win.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's been amazing having you on today. You're a wealth of knowledge. If anybody needs help in the shooting world, I know Aaron can take care of you. Obviously, with Elite, they do a great job selling guns. It's been so great learning your story and hearing about your techniques, and we'd love to have you on the show again once you get that ring. So, with that being said, Rick, is there anything we're missing?
No, I think we did good. It's been a good episode, folks. If you need anything, any questions on guns and stuff, call Elite. They got about every brand out there.
Just about every brand. Yeah.
Tune in next Friday. Thank you for tuning in today. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you at the Grand. We got lots of merchandise. We're doing giveaways. Thank you to Shotco Productions, John Slink, for making everything run.
Our
great.
production manager,
that's
if it
just
weren't
a
for him,
shameless plug for dealing with us, because you know what? It's hard to herd cats.
That's right.
cattle.
Cattle, cats, same thing.
Good luck, everyone. We'll see you next
See you
Friday.
next Friday.
And the Trap Talk podcast is brought to you in part by
RM Shooting Clinics. Have Ricky take your game to the next level. If you want to shoot hundreds, give Ricky a call today. Zach Nannini Financial. We believe in putting people first.